What if the real key to melting stubborn belly fat had nothing to do with cutting calories or skipping meals, and everything to do with one small but powerful hormone?
For so many people,
Weight gain around the belly isn't just about willpower or diet trends. It's a signal from your body that your insulin levels are out of balance. When insulin stays high for too long, your body can't easily access stored fat for energy. Instead, it keeps locking more of it away, especially around your organs, creating what's called visceral fat. Visceral fat. Now, here's the good news. You can actually reverse that pattern naturally. You don't need extreme fasting windows or endless keto cycles. You just need to understand how to bring your insulin sensitivity back on line. When insulin becomes balanced again, your metabolism starts working with you, not against you. In this video, we'll explore a simple but science-backed insulin hack that helps your body switch from fat storage to fat burning, often faster than you'd expect. We'll look at how small shifts in when and how you eat can lower insulin levels throughout the day. We'll also talk about specific food pairings that calm insulin spikes and how rest and recovery play an often overlooked role in this process. As you start to reset your metabolism, you'll notice your energy stabilizing, cravings dropping, and that deep visceral fat beginning to shrink from the inside out. Backhand index pointing right, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried keto, fasting, or another fat loss method? What worked and what didn't? Let's talk in the comments. Sometimes just understanding what your body's been trying to tell you can change everything. Insulin is one of those hormones that quietly runs the entire show when it comes to how your body stores or burns energy. Most people think of it as the hormone that controls blood sugar, but its real job is much broader. It's the gatekeeper that decides whether your body uses food for energy now or saves it for later as fat. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises, and insulin steps in to move that sugar into your cells so it can be used for fuel. But when there's more energy than your cells can handle, insulin directs the extra to be stored, mostly in your liver, muscles, and eventually in fat cells. In small, balanced amounts, insulin is essential. It keeps your energy steady and prevents your blood sugar from swinging too high or too low. But when insulin levels stay high all the time, because of stress, frequent snacking, or diets full of refined carbs and sugars, your body stops listening to it. This is called insulin resistance. It's like the cells become deaf to insulin signal, so your pancreas keeps producing more and more to try to get the message through. And here's where things get tricky. When insulin levels are chronically high, your body becomes stuck. Instead of burning fat for energy, it keeps locking more of it away, especially around the belly and internal organs. That's visceral fat, the kind that sits deep in your abdomen and wraps around your liver, intestines, and pancreas. Visceral fat isn't just a cosmetic issue. It actively releases inflammatory signals that make insulin resistance even worse. It's a vicious cycle. Higher insulin creates more fat storage, and more fat storage keeps insulin high. Now, stress adds another layer. When you're under stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that tells your system to keep energy on reserve. Cortisol and insulin work hand in hand to store more fat, especially around the midsection. This means you could be eating a healthy, but if you're constantly tense, sleep-deprived, or skipping rest, your body may still be holding on to fat as a survival strategy. Poor sleep has a similar effect. It raises insulin and cortisol levels, lowers insulin sensitivity, and throws off your hunger hormones, leading to more cravings for quick energy foods. Overeating, particularly processed foods, amplifies the problem. Processed carbs and sugars cause quick spikes in blood sugar, forcing insulin to surge again and again throughout the day. Each spike trains your body to rely on sugar instead of fat for energy. Over time, your fat cells become like a locked storage room. You've got plenty of energy saved up, but insulin won't let you access it. That's why people often feel tired, hungry, and frustrated even when eating less. Their metabolism is essentially offline. But here's the hopeful part. Insulin resistance isn't permanent. Your body can relearn how to use insulin properly. When insulin levels drop back into balance, fat cells open up again. Your metabolism shifts from a store to a burn. This is called restoring insulin sensitivity, and it's the key to natural, sustainable fat loss. You don't need to starve yourself or follow an extreme diet like keto to make this happen. It's more about creating small, consistent habits that lower insulin naturally, like spacing meals to give insulin time to fall between them, reducing refined carbs, managing stress, and improving sleep quality. Think of insulin as a volume knob on your metabolism. When it's turned up too high, your body hoards energy. When it's turned down, your body can finally start using the energy it's been storing for years. By helping your cells respond to insulin again, you're not fighting your body anymore. You're working with it. You start to notice changes that go beyond the scale. Steady energy, fewer sugar crashes, reduced cravings, and a body that feels lighter and more in balance. This is why focusing on insulin first changes everything. It's not about eating less. It's about teaching your body how to listen. Again, once insulin sensitivity improves, fat loss becomes a side effect of a healthy, responsive metabolism. Visceral fat is the deep, hidden fat that wraps around your organs, your liver, pancreas, and intestines. You can't pinch it like the soft fat under your skin. It's tucked away inside your abdomen, colon. While subcutaneous fat is more of an energy cushion, visceral fat behaves very differently. It's metabolically active, which means it doesn't just sit there. It talks to your body, releasing chemical signals and inflammatory molecules that can disrupt almost every system involved in metabolism. Think of your metabolism like a city with an intricate traffic system. Food you eat becomes glucose, fats, and amino acids, like cars on the road, all trying to get where they need to go. Insulin acts as the traffic light, directing where that energy should flow. But when visceral fat builds up, it's like the intersections start to clog. The roads narrow, and traffic can't move smoothly. Your cells stop responding properly to insulin signals, creating an energy traffic jam. Glucose piles up in your blood, insulin levels stay high, and instead of energy being burned efficiently, more fat gets parked in a storage lot around your organs. This traffic jam also sparks inflammation. Visceral fat releases inflammatory cytokines, tiny chemical messengers that tell the immune system something's wrong. Over time, these signals interfere with how your cells take in energy, causing more insulin resistance. It's a vicious feedback loop. Insulin resistance feeds visceral fat growth, and visceral fat keeps insulin resistance alive. Meanwhile, your metabolism starts to slow down, not because your body is broken, but because it's jammed up with too much internal congestion. One of the reasons visceral fat is so harmful is because it changes how your liver behaves. When your liver becomes surrounded by fat, it struggles to process nutrients efficiently. Insulin tries to help by storing more energy as fat in the liver and muscles, but that only deepens the resistance. Imagine your body as a house with too much clutter. You can't move freely or find what you need. To make space, you first have to stop adding more clutter, then start clearing what's already there. That's exactly what restoring insulin sensitivity does. It clears the metabolic pathways so energy can start moving again. When insulin finally has room to work properly, your body begins to access stored energy instead, of hoarding it. Fatty acids can flow out of fat cells and into mitochondria, the engines inside your cells, where they're burned for fuel. This process, called metabolic flexibility, is like switching from running your house on stored backup batteries to using clean, renewable energy again. You feel lighter, more energized, and your body temperature and metabolism naturally rise because the system is finally running smoothly. It's also worth noting that visceral fat doesn't just respond to what you eat. It's influenced by stress and recovery, too. Chronic stress keeps cortisol high, which tells your body to store more fat around the midsection for a protection. Combine that with lack of sleep or constant low-grade inflammation from processed foods, and your insulin stays elevated around the clock. It's as if your metabolic traffic lights are stuck on red all day, blocking fat from leaving storage. The turning point comes when you focus on unblocking those pathways, not unpunishing your body. By calming inflammation through real food, improving your sleep cycle, managing stress, and spacing meals to give insulin time to drop, you begin to open up the energy highways again. The cars start moving. Glucose gets absorbed properly, fat flows out of storage, and your metabolism speeds up naturally. Not because you forced it to, but because you removed what was slowing it down. This is why visceral fat is often called a silent metabolic blocker. You may not see it, but it quietly controls how easily your body burns or stores energy. The moment insulin sensitivity improves, that silence breaks. Your body begins to speak again through steadier energy, fewer cravings, and a sense of internal balance returning. What once felt like a battle with your metabolism starts to feel like a rhythm. And that's the point where fat loss stops being a fight and starts being a reflection of healing. No, resetting your insulin doesn't mean cutting out entire food groups or living in a constant state of hunger. It's about teaching your body how to respond to food again. Small, evidence-based shifts in when and how you eat can completely reprogram your metabolism, often without needing to change what you eat dramatically. The science behind insulin balance comes down to stability, keeping your blood sugar levels from spiking too high or crashing too low. When those peaks and valleys even out, your body stops overproducing insulin and starts burning stored fat consistently day and night. One of the most powerful yet simple strategies is to front-load your protein earlier in the day. Studies show that eating a protein-rich breakfast, something like eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie, can reduce glucose and insulin responses for the rest of the day. Protein slows digestion, supports muscle repair, and signals fullness hormones that naturally curb cravings. Hence, when you start your day with protein, you essentially set your metabolism to stay steady instead of chasing blood sugar dips with caffeine or quick carbs later. Another key piece of the insulin reset puzzle is timing. Your body's insulin sensitivity naturally follows a circadian rhythm. It's stronger earlier in the day and weaker at night. That means your body handles carbohydrates and heavier meals better when eaten earlier, not right before bed. Avoiding late-night snacking gives your insulin levels a chance to fall overnight, allowing fat-burning hormones like growth hormone to take over. Even a small change, like finishing dinner 2 to 3 hours before sleep, can dramatically improve insulin sensitivity and help your body access stored fat more efficiently. Food pairing is another subtle but powerful lever. Carbohydrates by themselves digest quickly, especially refined ones, leading to sharp spikes in blood sugar and, in turn, insulin. But when you pair carbs with fiber, healthy fats, or protein, you slow that glucose release. It's like putting a dimmer switch on your blood sugar response instead of flipping a light on full blast. For example, pairing fruit with nut butter, rice with avocado or olive oil, or pasta with chicken and vegetables smooths out your blood sugar curve and prevents those insulin surges that trigger fat storage. These small tweaks don't just help your body burn fat. They help you feel better throughout the day. When blood sugar stays stable, you don't experience the mid-afternoon crash, the irritability, or the sudden hunger that makes you reach for quick energy. Your energy becomes more even, your mood steadier, and your sleep deeper, all because insulin isn't being yanked around constantly. It's your metabolism finding its rhythm again, and perhaps the most surprising part, you don't have to restrict to make this work. The old approach, cutting calories, fasting for long windows, or avoiding entire food groups, often backfires because it adds stress to the system. Stress hormones like cortisol can actually raise blood sugar, keeping insulin high even when you're eating less. The body interprets extreme restriction as a threat and responds by conserving fat rather than releasing it. That's why balance is the real secret. When you nourish your body with the right combinations of foods at the right times, you create an internal sense of safety that tells your metabolism it's okay to burn stored energy again. It helps to imagine insulin as a dance partner. If you rush it with extremes, skipping meals, cutting carbs, or eating at odd hours, it stumbles and loses rhythm. But when you move in sync, spacing meals, adding protein, and respecting your body's natural timing, insulin flows with you. It signals your cells gently, energy moves where it should, and your metabolism hums along instead of jerking between chaos and crash. Within just a few days of adjusting meal timing and pairings, people often notice subtle shifts, less bloating, more consistent hunger cues, fewer sugar cravings. These are signs that insulin is calming down, that your metabolism is starting to trust the process again. Over time, these micro adjustments compound. Your body relearns how to burn fat 24/7, not through restriction or punishment, but through consistency and balance. And notes. When you give your body what it needs in rhythm with how it's designed to function, it rewards you, not just with fat loss, but with a renewed sense of energy and control that lasts. Stress is one of the most underestimated blockers of fat loss and metabolic health. You can eat clean, exercise regularly, and still feel stuck because your body doesn't just respond to food, it also responds to your internal state. When you're constantly under stress, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. In small, short bursts, cortisol is useful. It gives you the energy to react quickly, stay alert, and handle challenges. But when stress becomes chronic, cortisol stays elevated, and that's when things start to shift in a direction that makes fat loss nearly impossible. Biologically, cortisol and insulin work closely together. Cortisol's job is to make sure your body has enough energy to deal with a perceived threat. It tells your liver to release glucose into the bloodstream, giving you a quick burst of fuel. In a true emergency, like running from danger, that glucose would be used immediately. But when the threat is modern-day stress, deadlines, financial pressure, or constant worry, you're not actually burning through that energy. The extra glucose stays in your blood, which pushes insulin to rise in order to store it. Over time, this continuous loop of cortisol and insulin trains your cells to become less responsive, leading to insulin resistance. This is why stress can make you gain weight even if you're not overeating. The body, under the influence of cortisol, believes it's in survival mode. It stores energy, especially around the abdomen, where it can be quickly accessed if needed. That's visceral fat, the body's emergency fuel reserve. It's your biology trying to protect you, But in today's world, that protection ends up keeping you in a constant fat storage mode. And because high cortisol also increases appetite and cravings, especially for quick energy foods like sugar and carbs, you can end up stuck in a cycle of stress eating and insulin spikes. Poor recovery only deepens this loop. When you don't sleep enough, your cortisol levels remain high into the next day. This interferes with your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, making you feel hungrier and less satisfied after meals. Your body becomes both tired and wired, craving fast energy while resisting fat loss. Even intense exercise, if done without recovery, can keep cortisol elevated. It's not that movement is bad. Your body just needs moments of calm to balance the stress load. Breaking this cycle starts with calming your nervous system. The moment you signal safety to your body, cortisol begins to drop and insulin sensitivity starts to improve. It doesn't require hours of meditation or a complete lifestyle overhaul. Small, consistent calming practices make a powerful difference. Something as simple as taking 5 slow, deep breaths can reset your stress response. When you exhale slowly, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the arrest and digest state that tells your body it's safe to release energy again. Light movement also helps lower cortisol naturally. A short walk after meals helps your muscles use up glucose from your bloodstream, reducing insulin levels while calming your mind. Think of it as clearing the metabolic clutter before it builds up. Gentle stretching, yoga, or even stepping outside to breathe fresh air can interrupt the stress loop and reset your hormones. Mindful breaks throughout the day are another powerful tool. Many people live in a constant on mode, scrolling, rushing, multitasking, so forth. Taking intentional pauses signals to your brain that you're not in danger. This lowers both cortisol and insulin, allowing your metabolism to shift out of defense mode. A few minutes of stillness, journaling, or simply noticing your breath can help your body feel grounded and present. When your body feels safe, it stops hoarding energy. Cortisol levels fall, insulin sensitivity improves, and fat begins to move out of storage naturally. You'll start to notice that your hunger normalizes. You eat when you're truly hungry, not when you're stressed or tired. Energy stabilizes and your mood evens out. These are signs that your metabolism is recalibrating. The truth is, fat loss is not just about what you eat, it's also about how safe your body feels doing it. When stress hormones dominate, your body holds on. When calm returns, your body lets go. That's why balance between effort and recovery matters so much. Each deep breath, each mindful pause, each moment of slowing down tells your system, we're safe now. And in that safety, your body remembers how to burn fat again, naturally, effortlessly, the way it was designed to. When it comes to resetting your metabolism, sleep and recovery are just as powerful as diet and exercise, sometimes even more so. You can do everything right with food and still struggle to lose fat if your body never gets the rest it needs to repair and rebalance. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's an active biological reset that regulates your hormones, including insulin, cortisol, leptin, and ghrelin, the entire network that controls hunger, energy, and fat storage. During deep sleep, your body restores insulin sensitivity. This means your cells become more responsive to insulin, allowing glucose to move efficiently into cells for energy instead of staying in the bloodstream. Your body begins to act as if it's in a pre-diabetic state, which means you need more insulin to manage the same amount of glucose. That extra insulin keeps your body in storage mode and makes fat loss much harder. Poor sleep also disrupts the balance of hunger hormones. Ghrelin, the hormone that signals hunger, rises when you're sleep deprived, while leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, drops. You wake up craving quick energy, usually sugar or refined carbs, because your brain is searching for fast fuel to stay alert. This is why after a bad night's sleep, willpower feels weaker and snacking becomes almost automatic. It's not a lack of discipline. It's your biology trying to compensate for fatigue. Restorative sleep does the opposite. When you get enough deep and REM sleep, your brain clears out metabolic waste, your stress hormones drop, and your metabolism gets the signal that it's safe to burn stored energy again. One of the simplest ways to support this natural rhythm is consistency, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day. The body loves predictability. A steady sleep routine trains your circadian rhythm, which regulates not just sleep, but also hormone timing, digestion, and fat metabolism. Morning light exposure is another underrated tool for improving insulin sensitivity. When you step outside shortly after waking, the natural light hits your eyes and signals your brain to regulate melatonin and cortisol levels properly. This helps anchor your internal clock, which in turn improves sleep quality that night. It's like setting your metabolism's daily rhythm. Light in the morning wakes your system. Darkness at night tells it to rest and repair. Movement plays a crucial role in this recovery rhythm too, but it doesn't have to be intense. In fact, gentle, consistent movement is often more effective for balancing insulin than overtraining. When you move, your muscles act like a sponge, soaking up glucose from your bloodstream without needing much insulin. Even a 10-minute walk after meals can dramatically lower blood sugar levels and prevent insulin spikes. Think of movement as a daily cleanup crew. It clears out excess energy before it gets stored as fat. Short recovery periods throughout the day are another key piece. Most people live in constant a-go mode, keeping cortisol elevated, taking brief pauses, stretching, breathing deeply, or stepping away from screens allows your nervous system to reset. When cortisol drops, insulin follows, creating a window where your body can shift into repair and fat-burning mode. Recovery isn't a luxury, it's a metabolic tool. When you start combining these rhythms, steady sleep, morning light, and light movement after meals, you create a feedback loop that trains your metabolism to trust you again. Your body begins to anticipate rest, activity, and nourishment at predictable times, which reduces stress on the system. That sense of rhythm is what allows your metabolism to become flexible, to switch between using glucose and stored fat for energy with ease. Over time, you'll notice the difference. More stable energy during the day, better focus, fewer cravings, and waking up feeling rested instead of drained. These aren't just signs of better sleep. They're signs that your metabolism is sinking back into its natural rhythm. Fat loss stops being something you force and starts being something your body naturally does when it feels supported, rested, and safe. The real secret isn't in pushing harder. It's in restoring balance so your body can finally do what it's built to do: recover, reset, and burn energy efficiently. The shift from fat storage to fat burning isn't about chasing quick results. It's about teaching your body how to trust you again. When you rebalance insulin, you're not just changing your diet. You're changing the entire relationship your body has with energy. For years, many of us have been stuck in cycles of restriction, stress, and exhaustion, trying to force our metabolism to cooperate. But your body isn't broken, it's protective. It's been responding exactly as it should to the signals you've been giving it. When those signals shift from stress and scarcity to safety and rhythm, your metabolism responds with balance, clarity, and effortless fat burning. Rebalancing insulin works because it aligns with how your biology is designed to function. The process begins with timing, Learning to eat in rhythm with your body's natural insulin sensitivity. Eating earlier in the day, spacing meals to give insulin time to drop, and allowing your body an overnight window of rest helps reset your internal clock. You're no longer fighting against your metabolism. You're syncing with it. Over time, this rhythm trains your body to release stored fat gradually, without the rebound or burnout that comes from extreme fasting or restrictive diets. Nourishment is the next key. Your body needs food that stabilizes it, not food that confuses it. Balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats send calm signals to your blood sugar and hormones. Instead of surging and crashing, your energy flows steadily throughout the day. Boo. When you eat in a way that balances insulin, your cravings begin to fade because your body finally feels fed. You stop obsessing over food, not because you've lost interest, but because your biology isn't screaming for rescue anymore. Recovery ties it all together. From stress, poor sleep, and overexertion are silent triggers that can undo even the best nutrition plan. By intentionally slowing down through deep breathing, light walks, stretching, or consistent bedtime routines, you create the hormonal space for fat burning to occur. When cortisol drops, insulin follows. When insulin drops, your body finally opens its fat stores for fuel. You can literally feel this shift as your energy becomes more stable and your body feels lighter. Fat burning isn't just about calorie math. It's about chemistry and calm. Consistency is the quiet engine behind all of it. These changes don't need to be perfect. They just need to be repeated. Each day that you eat in rhythm, rest deeply, and manage stress, you're reinforcing the message that your body is safe. And when your body feels safe, it becomes efficient again. Fat loss stops being the main focus. It becomes a byproduct of health. That's what makes this approach sustainable. It's not a sprint. It's a steady rewiring of how your metabolism communicates with your hormones. The beauty of this process is that you don't have to force anything. Your body already knows how to burn fat. It's been doing it your entire life. It just needs the right conditions to do it well. By lowering insulin and calming stress hormones, you're simply reminding your metabolism of what it already knows. You're turning off the storage signal and turning on the burning one. And that's when things start to change, not just on the outside, but in how you feel every day. Over time, the benefits ripple out far beyond weight. Your mood stabilizes, your sleep deepens, your focus sharpens, and you start to feel grounded in your own skin again. These are signs that your metabolism is no longer fighting for survival. It's thriving. The most powerful part of this transformation isn't found in restriction, but in rhythm and awareness. When you tune in, you realize that balance isn't something you achieve once. It's something you maintain through small, consistent choices that align with how your body was designed to function. Your body already knows how to heal. It already knows how to burn fat, restore energy, and find equilibrium. You just have to give it the right signals: food that nourishes instead of spikes, movement that energizes instead of depletes, rest that restores instead of numbs. When you live in tune with those signals, you stop chasing health and start experiencing it. And that's where real, lasting transformation begins, when your body finally feels safe enough to let go, and you rediscover what it means to live in a state of metabolic freedom.